Schönen guten Abend, alle zusammen. Now everyone, I want you to all get up, get out of your seats. You all, come, hurry up, we only have 12 minutes. Very nice, thanks for that. We want to start with a question. Who among you does not currently live in Dresden? Please take your seat. Who among you was born in Dresden? Please sit down. Yes, you gotta get a little thinking going here. So now, who among you was born somewhere else in Germany? Yeah. So now, wow, Fatema, take a look around and welcome your fellow internationals here in Dresden. You please stand. You please stand because we want to ask you, why are you still here? What made you stay? That's a nice one.
First of all, thank you so much for participating. Please have a seat. Well, Anke, I asked myself the same question when I moved to Dresden 5 years ago. Back then, I was really lost. I didn't know where to begin. I had moved here with my husband, who had a job. And I, in spite of my degree and my experience, didn't have one. Therefore, I had no professional network of my own. My main motive then was to practice the German that I had learned, because I knew that that was the first step to integrate. But who would I practice with? I didn't know anybody here, and there was no such community that existed. And then came an idea, and I thought, maybe I could build one. So with the help of this group on Facebook and the amazing people behind it, I posted my first ever open event. And I called it the Stammtisch. I only defined the purpose of the event, which was of course to practice German and meet locals and internationals in Dresden. I never defined who could come to the event. I wanted to be open to anyone and everyone. I wanted to create a truly inclusive community. What do you think was the result? Well, it was even better than I imagined. So many people showed up from all walks of life, and we were gathered at a beautiful location overlooking the Altstadt of Dresden. We were lost in our conversations, and it was truly a magical evening. That night, I went back home feeling exhilarated. For the first time in Dresden, I felt like I was not alone. I was not the only international in the city. I was not the only one who didn't have a job. And I was definitely not the only one who spoke broken German. There were many others like me. In fact, this particular night made me realize that maybe I do have a purpose in the city. Maybe my purpose is to bring people together, to be a connector. So I decided to organize the Stammtisch week after week. But the journey was not easy. I had my ups and downs. I remember in the beginning weeks walking to the venue with my husband, feeling anxious if anybody would even show up. We had this joke among us that if nobody showed up, we were going to have this date on a very long table. 5 years down the line, we've still not had this date. There was always someone who showed up. The numbers ranged from 10 to even 150. So actually that was the time I realized that it was not the amount of people that came that mattered, but rather the quality of our conversations. Jetzt fühle ich mich wohl, auf Deutsch zu reden. Aber trotzdem organisiere ich den Stammtisch immer noch, bis heute. Thank you so much. Thank you. Because the society needs this more than me right now. I have achieved my purpose, and now it's everybody else's turn. This community that I worked really hard to create, though, is not permanent. There are new faces that I see every year, but there are also many faces that I bid farewell to every year, too. These people have come to fall in love with the city. They have come to learn the language. They are from professional backgrounds. They are doctors, engineers, architects. They are very capable of contributing to Dresden. But some of them still leave. And it really makes me wonder, why?
Wow, well, Fatema, why do they leave? Let's see first. I think we should check if your experience is in tune with the facts. Because I, as a PhD student, I really love my numbers. So, first of all, I think the numbers prove what you said. So, what do we have? Many internationals come here, especially students. Okay, so Saxony ranks second in terms of the proportion of international students in Germany. In Saxony, between 2005 and today, the total number of international students has nearly doubled. And if we take a look at the universities here in Dresden, 16% of all students are internationals. So this tells us that our universities are really successful in attracting international students. But then we have to think about if it's not a question and the lack of the willingness to come here, is it a lack of the willingness to stay? Actually, neither is the case, because here again, statistics help us. 7 out of 10 international students report they would love to stay if they find a job. But on the other hand, only 25% of international graduates really find a job after their graduation. So I'm a little bit lost. What are the reasons? Why do they leave? Or what makes them stay, actually?
Well, in my experience, Anke, I think there are 4 broad groups of people who tend to leave Dresden. The first one being the ones who want to leave. They either find the atmosphere to be too cold and unwelcoming in Dresden, or they just choose to go back to their home country. And then there are people in the second group which just can't get rid of the language barrier. They feel that their German is not good enough, and without it, they can't survive here, or even find work here. Then the third group of people are the ones who just come here with the assumption that Dresden is a university town. They don't even know about the local industry that exists here. And last but not the least, the majority of the people leave Dresden because they have to. These people are the ones who love the city, they even learned the language, they integrated themselves, but they could not find a way to support themselves financially. They could not connect with the local industry in Dresden. There was a missing link.
Oh man, that's so interesting that you say that, because that actually was our motivation. Just a few years ago, like you, some fellow students of mine at TU Dresden also felt that there's a missing link. On the one hand, we have companies in Dresden that really need and want international talents. On the other hand, we have so many international students that would love to work in a Dresden company. So, in order to create this missing link, we needed to do something. And my co-founders and I, we created a project. It's called the International Talent Project for Dresden, short intap, to fill this missing link. Here's our mission. I want to name 3 points. First, we want to increase the visibility between companies and students, because there's a huge visibility gap between companies and students. They just don't see each other. That's why we need to raise visibility between the two groups. Second one, we accompany international students during their academic career and support them with career planning. And the third one, just like you, Fatema, on an individual scale level, we created the intap community in order to bring people together, so to say, on a larger, on a professional scale. But now, I think we should be honest with the guys sitting around here. Why should you all care if international students stay here or leave the city? Well, I can only tell you why I care and what I think about it. There are 4 main reasons for me. First, companies struggle sometimes in order to open up, to fill the open positions they have. International professionals can help to fill the skill gap. Second, it would be a great economic loss if you study here for a few years and then you leave Dresden with all your skills and go work somewhere else. Third, international employees are a great benefit for the company they work in, because they help them to explore foreign markets with their knowledge of language, customs, people. It's a great advantage. But yeah, economics is important, but it's not the only thing that's important. That's why the 4th point I want to name that's very dear to me, because I'm convinced international talents, international students are an intercultural enrichment of our city and of the entire society. So, to sum it up, all those 4 benefits I just mentioned, taken together and combined, I'm sure that those talents help our economy to flourish and our society to glow. And this exactly is the Dresden I want to live in, and I wish future generations to be able to live in.
Anke and I are a few examples of the multiple initiatives in Dresden. We found a problem in the city, and we try to resolve it in our own small and big ways. We longed a sense of community, a sense of connection, and we tried to create it. My vision is that people create communities based on a purpose and not based on where they come from. Now, we are here today to ask you, what can you do to be a connector? What can you do to be a part of or create a community? What is it that you long for in Dresden? At the end of the day, everything begins from an individual who makes a difference. That individual could be you, or you. We can only urge you and encourage you to come out of your comfort zone and reach out. You never know how many people around you are seeking the same thing, or maybe even offering it. If you share our vision of an international Dresden, then you be the connector and create the kind of Dresden
you want to live in.